You might be shutting the door on your own prosperity just by opening your mouth. There's one phrase people repeat every day without realizing they're literally pushing money away. Have you said it today? Sounds dramatic? Well, that's exactly what happens when certain words slip out without a filter. How many times have you felt like you're giving it your all, but money still refuses to flow? Most people are going broke energetically without even noticing, repeating phrases that seem harmless but are soaked in scarcity. And even worse, they think they're just being realistic. But what if what you call realism is actually a self-sabotaging spell dressed up as common sense? Most people only wake up to this when they're hit with the right questions, the ones that show just how much your words have been shaping your life. And those questions don't come from just anywhere. They come from deep inner work, from people who've walked this path. Hardly anyone talks about this. The way you speak shapes your vibration, and your vibration defines what you attract or repel. Money responds to your language. And in this video, you're going to understand why phrases like "it's hard," "there's never enough," or "money doesn't grow on trees" are more dangerous than they seem. They're not just words, they're commands. Doors open or close because of them. And some of these doors you've probably been slamming shut since childhood without even knowing it. If you've ever wondered why your financial life seems stuck, even though you're trying so hard, maybe the issue isn't what you're doing, it's what you're saying. And after hearing this, you won't be able to speak the same way again. Because the key to abundance, it starts with the sound of your own voice. Some people spend all day saying, "It's hard, nothing works for me, I'm just unlucky," and don't realize they're writing their reality with their own mouth. Yep, every phrase is a direct command to the universe, not an exaggeration. Words carry frequency. They hold energy and shape the vibration you're putting out. And if your vibe is scarcity, what do you think is going to show up? It's like planting seeds every day without even checking what you're putting in the ground. When someone keeps saying money is a problem, they're watering the soil of life with sabotaging words that block any conscious manifestation of financial abundance. Money picks up on what you feel and say, and if your words are loaded with frustration, they become a magnet, just not the kind you want. Most people don't even notice, but this pattern starts in the smallest conversations, in family group chats, in elevators, on WhatsApp. Phrases that seem harmless become invisible walls keeping people far from financial freedom. You'll be surprised to see how many of these phrases show up as jokes, rants, or habits passed down through generations. Want a quick exercise? Spend 24 hours just observing everything you say about money. That alone will open your eyes. But the real change comes when you go beyond observing and start reprogramming your belief system consistently. And for that, having a method makes all the difference. On your own you might start, but chances are you'll stop halfway. And maybe that's what's been happening in your life too. It's wild how words spoken without much thought can sabotage an entire life. Money just disappears from my hands. Everything's so expensive, it's impossible to live. Sounds like venting, right? But they're actually declarations, vibrational signatures telling the universe, I want to stay in lack. And guess what? The law of attraction obeys without question. It doesn't filter sarcasm or exaggeration, it responds to frequency. These expressions create real blocks in your financial energy. When someone says, my money never lasts, they're building an emotional identity around that statement. And the universe doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you are, or better yet, what you claim to be. That's why even a simple, frustrated sentence can turn into a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like writing the script of a movie you don't even want to star in. A great way to flip the script is to start replacing those old phrases with more neutral or empowering ones. Instead of saying money disappears so fast, try saying, I'm learning to manage my resources better. It's not about denying reality, it's about choosing a new perspective. Positive language isn't some fantasy, it's construction, and it's through that construction that you begin making space for real wealth to show up. Now, what if the problem runs deeper than you thought? Your brain doesn't have a sense of humor or a filter, it just records what you repeat. If every day you say, I'm terrible with money, your brain says, got it, that's our truth, and it starts acting on it. Your subconscious turns those sabotaging phrases into identity, and then everything starts to revolve around that script. Once you realize this, you'll see that motivation isn't enough. You need a practical tool to break the cycle and rewrite that internal script, one day at a time. The body feels it, your actions reinforce it, and the scarcity cycle just keeps spinning. This repetition builds what scientists call neural pathways, mental highways that become automatic. People who constantly say, "I'm just not good with numbers," start to literally block out financial opportunities. Ever met someone who avoids talking about money like it's the boogeyman? Exactly. Most of the time, that's just unhealed programming running the show. Want a practical tip? Start your day with prosperity affirmations, even if it feels weird at first. Say out loud, "I am abundant. Money flows to me with ease." Sounds cheesy? Maybe. But that's how you start rewriting your financial mindset. With consistency, even the most skeptical brain starts to believe, and that's when financial blocks stop being a dream and start becoming a natural path. But is repeating affirmations really enough? It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. Some people say, "It's gonna work," with so much doubt in their voice, even the universe gets confused. The feeling behind the words is the real messenger of your vibration. If it comes with fear, resentment, or sarcasm, that's the frequency you're sending out. And in that vibe, money energy doesn't exactly feel welcome. Think about it. Have you ever heard someone say, "I'm rich," but then nervously laugh right after? That awkward laugh that ruins the whole thing? Yep, that weakens the command. Conscious manifestation needs alignment between your words, emotions, and intentions. When those don't match, it's like trying to tune in to two radio stations at once, just static. And static delays your abundance. Here's a powerful tip. Pay attention to your tone when you talk about money. If it sounds heavy, catch it and change it right there. Switch from a tone of complaint to one of decision. Instead of saying, "There's never anything left," say, "I'm learning how to grow what I already have," and say it with conviction. That instantly shifts your energy. Because in the end, the universe doesn't respond to the sound, it responds to the intention behind the sound. And there's one tone that's even trickier. Some people learn to downplay themselves so they wouldn't seem arrogant. They speak with humility, but deep down they're dying to grow. Phrases like, "Oh, it's just a little money," "It's no big deal," or "I'm just a regular person," may sound modest, but they vibrate scarcity. It's like knocking on the door of abundance and then hiding behind a bush. The universe hears your intention, not your polite small talk. This kind of language, so casual, so normal, actually blocks the flow of money. People who say, "I don't need much," are often just trying to avoid judgment, envy, or criticism. But without realizing it, they're rejecting prosperity. It's like a flower saying it doesn't want too much sun. There's a difference between being grateful for what you have and settling for less out of fear of shining too bright. Gratitude opens doors. Playing small shuts them. Want a real-life example? A woman once told me that the moment she started confidently saying she wanted to double her income without apologizing for it, everything changed. New ideas popped up, unexpected opportunities appeared, because she stopped hiding her light in the name of false modesty. That shift is the difference between someone who just scrolls through content online and someone who dives deep into real financial transformation. These are the kinds of breakthroughs that inspired the most powerful material I've ever created on this subject. From that point on, her words started vibrating with prosperity, and that's when she realized scarcity was hiding, even in the smallest compliments. The truth is, at some point, everyone has said things that sabotage their own financial abundance, and that's okay. The first step isn't beating yourself up, it's becoming aware. Phrases like, "I can't handle it," "That's not for me," "There's never anything left," or "Money only goes to people who already have it." These are sneaky little termites, quiet but destructive. Recognizing them is like flipping on a light in a room that's been dark for years, and when the light comes on, there's no need to blame anyone. You just see things clearly. You don't need to feel guilty for repeating phrases you heard from your parents, grandparents, or society. Most of those were shared with good intentions, to teach you to be realistic or protect you from disappointment. But too much realism becomes a cage. And once you see your scarcity vocabulary, you start creating space for a whole new financial mindset. And when awareness meets direction, things finally start to move. That's why having a step-by-step process can fast-track your transformation. Alone, you see the problem. With the right path, you start living the solution. So here's a simple, practical suggestion. For 2 days, write down everything you say about money. Not to judge yourself, but to investigate. Which scarcity words keep popping up? Which sabotaging phrases show up most often? By the end, you'll have a clear map of your internal language. And with that map in hand, it gets a whole lot easier to start your financial breakthrough, with a conscious choice of words that open doors instead of closing them. Once you realize which words have been blocking your abundance, the next step is replacing them with intention and honesty. Instead of saying there's never anything left, you could say, I'm learning how to create financial balance. Swap money doesn't grow on trees for there are countless creative ways to attract money into my life. It sounds simple, but it's powerful. Every new phrase is a bridge to a new reality, and repetition turns that bridge into a paved road. The secret is creating affirmations that feel emotionally real. There's no point in shouting, I'm a millionaire, if deep down it makes your stomach twist. Start with statements your heart can actually support, like money is starting to flow into my life in surprising ways, or I'm ready to receive more. Positive language only works when it aligns with your inner truth and your sense of worthiness. That changes everything. You can make this a habit. Every time you catch a limiting phrase, pause and rewrite it, literally, if you want. Get a notebook and jot down the old sentence and its empowered version right next to it. That builds awareness and reinforces the mental reprogramming. And the more you do this, the more natural it becomes to speak abundance into your life. And speaking of talking, how's your conversation with money going? Most people don't realize it, but money listens. Not literally, but energetically. The way you talk about it reveals the quality of the relationship you have with it. If you're constantly saying, money just causes stress, you're basically insulting your own ally. And let's be real, no one wants to stick around where they're not welcome. Money energy is sensitive, and just like any relationship, it responds to how it's treated. With love, it comes closer. With rejection, it keeps its distance. Think of money as a person. If you're always complaining about them, blaming them, disrespecting them, or saying they're never around, why would they want to be close to you? But if you say, thank you for being here, I appreciate what you allow me to do, I'm ready to receive you with joy and wisdom, everything shifts. That's the foundation of conscious manifestation. Prosperity loves being treated well. Here's a simple but powerful exercise. Write a letter to money like you're talking to a dear friend. Tell it how you feel. Say sorry for the scarcity-driven things you've said. Thank it for what it's helped you do so far. This practice rewires your financial mindset and changes the frequency with which you attract money. Because deep down, money just wants to know it can trust you. And for that to happen, it needs to hear better things from you every single day. Mantras are like sacred reminders that keep your mind aligned with the reality you want to create. They don't have to be complicated or fancy. They just need clear intention, elevated emotion, and a focused direction. I am a magnet for financial abundance. Everything I invest multiplies with ease. Repeated with presence, these mantras start shaping the vibrational field around you. But here's the thing, mindless repetition doesn't cut it. The power of a mantra lies in the emotion behind it. It's like whispering to the universe with your whole heart. So pick phrases that you can actually feel, that make your heart skip a beat. You can even stick them on your mirror, set them as your phone background, or write them down before bed. That's when deep mental reprogramming begins. Now, what if I told you that you could create your own magnetic phrases, tailored to your current reality, and that they work even better than the generic affirmations out there? Try this. Come up with 3 personal mantras based on what you most want to unlock right now. If it's financial blocks, try something like, my mind is open to new income streams, or money finds me through unexpected paths. Use them in the morning and at night with real intention. Because in the end, whatever you repeat with faith becomes your reality. You might be wondering, okay, I've changed my thoughts, I've shifted my words, but why hasn't the money shown up yet? That's where most people get stuck. They think change happens instantly, but internal shifts need time to reorganize the outside. Imagine you're tuning a radio. Just because you're on the right frequency doesn't mean the song starts playing that exact second. But stay on that station, and soon the music flows. That's how abundance works. You align your thoughts, words, and emotions, and then you wait with confidence. Not passivity, confidence. There's a big difference. You keep living your life, but with the certainty that something's already unfolding for you behind the scenes. This is what Neville Goddard meant by living in the end. It's when you rest in the feeling that it's already done, even before anything changes around you. Here's something you can do right now. Pick one small desire, something that feels good but isn't overwhelming. Maybe an unexpected gift, a small amount of money, or a kind message from someone. Visualize it happening, feel the joy, then let it go and trust. Just play with the process. You'll be amazed how often these small manifestations pop up when your energy is clear and you're not trying to control the outcome. That's the secret. Relaxed focus. Now, let's take it deeper. Most people are afraid to dream big because they've been disappointed before. They've imagined something beautiful, and it didn't happen, and that hurt. So their defense is to stop wanting, to pretend they don't care. But that's like shutting a window because one breeze knocked over a vase. The truth is, your ability to imagine is sacred, and if it failed before, it wasn't your fault. Maybe the alignment wasn't complete, maybe the timing wasn't right. Or maybe it was preparing you for something even greater. Healing your relationship with your imagination is crucial. It's not just about visualization, it's about self-trust, about believing that what you see inside isn't a fantasy, but a seed. And seeds need time. Some need weeks, others need years, but none grow with doubt poured over them daily. Your job isn't to force the bloom, it's to nourish the soil. The sun rises every day without your help. Trust that what you imagined is being pulled toward you in ways you can't yet see. So the question becomes, are you willing to keep dreaming, even if it hurts sometimes? Are you willing to imagine again, not because you're desperate, but because your soul deserves it? The ones who keep imagining, who choose vision over fear, are the ones who start living realities that others call miracles. But to them, it was just Tuesday. Let's talk about something most people don't admit: fear of having money. Sounds crazy, right? Everyone thinks they're afraid of not having it. But the truth is, deep down, many are terrified of what would happen if they actually received everything they asked for. More responsibility, more visibility, more expectations. And that fear, it silently blocks the flow of abundance without you even realizing. Think of it this way. If you say you want to earn 10 times more, but deep inside you believe that rich people are judged, envied, or alone, your subconscious will protect you from becoming one of them. It'll keep you at a safe level. That's why reprogramming isn't just about desire. It's about clearing the inner resistance to having what you want. Otherwise, the door stays locked from the inside. Try this quick exercise. Write down 3 beliefs you have about wealthy people. Be honest. Then ask yourself, do I want to be that? If not, those beliefs are probably sabotaging your path. Shift them consciously. Replace "rich people are greedy" with "money amplifies who I truly am." Repeat this daily, because once your mind stops fearing abundance, it starts attracting it. Also, let's get real about identity. If you've spent years seeing yourself as someone who's always struggling, saving, or just getting by, your brain builds a story around that. Even when money shows up, it doesn't feel like it belongs. You might overspend, lose it quickly, or sabotage opportunities just to return to the version of yourself that feels familiar. That's not lack of discipline, that's a loyalty to an old identity. Changing your financial reality means updating your inner narrative. Start calling yourself abundant before the money lands. Say things like, "I manage wealth with grace. I am safe with money. I attract opportunities that reflect my worth." Yes, it might feel weird at first, but that's how you know it's working. You're literally rewiring the character you play in your own story. And guess what? You can edit the script anytime. Once you start living from this new identity, things feel smoother. You stop chasing, you stop shrinking. You walk into rooms with different energy. People notice. Opportunities feel aligned. And even when doubt tries to creep back in, you've got a new default. Trust. Trust that your imagination is divine. Trust that the desire you feel is sacred. And trust that when you really embody this version of you, abundance has no choice but to match it. Here's a truth most don't talk about. Abundance starts to feel normal. Not flashy, not distant, just natural. You stop obsessing over the how and start focusing on who you're becoming. You no longer try to manifest from a place of desperation, but from wholeness. You're not chasing money. You're embodying the version of you that attracts it effortlessly. That's the shift. That's the sweet spot. When Neville Goddard said "live in the end," he wasn't talking about pretending. He meant becoming. Becoming the person who already has, already is, already knows. And this isn't about faking confidence or forcing positive thinking. It's about anchoring yourself in the feeling that it's already done, that your desire is not a future event. It's a present identity, and that shift changes everything. Want to test this today? Pick a goal. Now close your eyes and imagine. If it were already yours, how would you walk, breathe, speak, dress, think? Then carry that version of you through the day. Don't wait for life to prove it. Show life who you are now. The universe mirrors what you are, not what you wish for. That's why embodying is so much more powerful than chasing. And don't be surprised if people around you start acting differently. When your energy changes, your environment has to catch up. Some relationships may shift. Some clients may appear out of nowhere. You might feel sudden clarity about things that used to confuse you. That's not random, that's alignment. That's your new frequency attracting a new timeline. But remember, the goal isn't just to manifest stuff. It's to live from the truth that the real source is inside you. That you're not waiting for a miracle. You are the miracle. When you realize that, you stop outsourcing your power. You stop living for the one day and start realizing that today, this moment, is the doorway to everything you've ever asked for. All it takes is stepping through as the version of you who's ready. Let's talk about momentum. Most people think success comes from taking massive action all the time. But in reality, the most powerful changes come from consistency. Tiny, aligned actions repeated from the right state of being. When you operate from your imagined end, even small steps carry big energy. They compound. They create waves. That's how timelines collapse. That's how dreams show up out of nowhere. Want a real example? Imagine someone who wants to launch a business but keeps doubting their value. They keep planning, tweaking, researching, but not launching. Now imagine they shift. They start seeing themselves as someone who already serves and impacts lives. From that identity, even a simple Instagram post feels magnetic. Clients appear, not because of the post, but because of the energy behind it. That's the difference between hustle and alignment. Hustle drains, alignment flows. One is built on fear of lack, the other on trust in abundance. You can feel it in your body. If you're forcing every move, grinding from anxiety, it's time to pause, reconnect. Ask, am I moving from trust or from panic? Because only one of those creates miracles. Now let's tie it all together. The desire, that's the voice of God. The imagination, that's your blueprint, the feeling. That's the confirmation, the repetition, that's the rewiring, the consistency. That's your part of the deal. And the outcome, that's God's territory. Your only job is to hold the vision, stay in the state, and walk as if it's already yours. Because in a very real way, it already is. And when you start to live like this, life becomes art. You begin to see that everything you create outside is just a mirror of what you've accepted inside. You stop waiting. You start expressing. And that's when people look at you and say, you've changed. But what really happened? You just remembered who you are and finally decided to live from that place unapologetically. So here we are, the full circle. The moment where you realize that manifestation is not just a spiritual trick, it's a sacred agreement. When you feel a desire, imagine it clearly, embody it fully, trust it deeply, and take action from that place. You're not just creating a new reality. You're honoring the divine contract between your soul and the source. You're saying yes to what's already yours. And when it manifests, when the thing you once only imagined becomes physical, you'll know. It wasn't luck. It wasn't chance. It was alignment, divine co-creation, a reflection of your inner world blooming into form. And it'll feel familiar, like a déjà vu. Because in truth, you've already lived it. Many times in your mind, in your body, in your spirit. That's why it feels natural. That's why it sticks. The more you live this way, the more you understand. The real goal is not the thing itself. It's who you become in the process. It's the remembering, the awakening, the return to your true nature. Money, relationships, success, they're just mirrors. The real treasure is knowing you are the creator. And every time you honor a desire, you reconnect with that truth. That's what Neville meant when he said God became man, that man may become God. So next time a deep desire rises in your heart, don't brush it off. Don't rationalize it away. Recognize it, feel it, honor it. Because it's not just a thought, it's a divine invitation, a spark from the eternal, reminding you of what's possible. All you have to do is say yes.